A shocking reckoning of Australia's longest war has begun, with the release of a bombshell report detailing unlawful killings and war crimes allegedly committed by Special Forces soldiers. It marks the conclusion of an exhaustive 4-year inquiry exposing the darkest chapter in Australia's military history. 19 current or former soldiers from the Special Operations Task Group are facing criminal investigation over the unlawful killing of 39 people in Afghanistan. The damning report found prisoners were executed to blood junior soldiers, and it lifted the lid on a self-centred warrior culture within the SAS in which patrol commanders were treated as demigods. The Chief of Defence has apologised to the Afghan people and promised to compensate the families of the dead. Defence correspondent Andrew Green begins our coverage.
From the shadows of Australia's longest war, a long-awaited reckoning.
To the people of Afghanistan, on behalf of the Australian Defence Force, I sincerely and unreservedly apologise for any wrongdoing by Australian soldiers.
That wrongdoing's been laid bare in explosive findings detailing murders and other war crimes committed by Special Forces.
None of the alleged unlawful killings were described as being in the heat of battle.
The Inspector-General has collated credible evidence for numerous executions of captured Afghan fighters and innocent civilians, such as this 2012 shooting first uncovered by Four Corners. The worst of the crimes said to have been carried out towards the end of the lengthy conflict, including one that's only been described as possibly the most disgraceful episode in Australia's military history.
It is shameful.
Over 4 years, Justice Paul Brereton interviewed hundreds of witnesses.
I turned around and the guy was dead. He'd been shot through the forehead.
And concluded criminal behaviour of a few was commenced, committed, continued and concealed at the patrol commander level. Corporals and sergeants had ordered junior soldiers to carry out and then cover up executions.
In an appalling practice known as blooding.
In total, 25 elite soldiers are accused of war crimes linked to the murder of at least 39 Afghans, although the inquiry concedes there's no doubt it's failed to uncover everything.
I would never have conceived that an Australian would be doing this in the modern era, and it does undermine the Defence Force's moral authority.
Justice Brereton's report lifts the lid on a toxic warrior culture fostered by a small group of soldiers within the SAS.
The nature of all of the crimes is so disturbing and distressing. There was a set of special rules for Special Forces.
The repercussions for Australia's Special Forces have been immediate. The alleged atrocities so grave, an entire SAS squadron is being disbanded, and a meritorious unit citation awarded to Special Task Force soldiers who served after 2007 is being revoked. But inside the military, there's frustration and anger that no senior officers have yet taken responsibility. The Chief believes more crimes from Afghanistan will be uncovered.
If you have a concern, raise it.
Criminal prosecutions are likely to take years, but compensation will soon be offered to families in Afghanistan. Restoring the reputation and moral credibility of Special Forces could take much longer. Andrew Green, ABC News, Canberra.
The shock findings in the Brereton report are ricocheting through the defence and government establishment. As political editor Andrew Probyn reports, the Morrison government fears Australia's international reputation will be damaged.
For a nation that's long celebrated its soldier heritage, Australia must now confront the fact that some of its military elite were little more than cold-blooded killers. In many instances, it was the killer's colleagues who were brave enough to break the unwritten rules of brotherhood, to declare where morality stands.
In my book, this is bravery of the highest order, and we owe to them, as a nation, an enormous debt of gratitude.
But to blame war atrocities on a handful of lone psychopaths would ignore a sick warrior culture that was allowed to fester, a command that lacked moral leadership, even curiosity about what was happening on the ground, allowing the poisonous influence of patrol commanders considered demigods by their subordinates. That's not to diminish the responsibility of those individuals who disproportionately and immorally used lethal force in Australia's name. The high rotation of Australia's special forces contributed to moral drift, as did a kill or capture program that incentivised bad behaviour.
Rules were broken, stories concocted, lies told, and prisoners killed.
Australia's international reputation will be tarnished by what's been uncovered. There are fears domestic extremists will be encouraged. But the Brereton investigation was crucial. To defend the name of the great majority who have served with honour and distinction, Australia must admit its terrible wrongdoings. And that's the silver lining on the darkest of days. At least Australia is doing something about it.